Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. Following weeks of campaigning, door-knocking, and a public forum, the efforts of all of the candidates running in the Swift Current municipal election were placed in the hands of the voters. Close to 100 contestants from across the Prairies were in Swift Current for the 2016 CCA Finals Rodeo. Momentum continues to pick up with the Safe Places Youth Certification Program in Swift Current, with another sports team coming on board. Thanks for joining us here today. Following weeks of campaigning, voters had their say at the polls. We bring you the highlights from Swift Current City Council's election. Following weeks of campaigning, door-knocking, and a public forum, the efforts of all of the candidates running in the Swift Current municipal election were placed in the hands of the voters. And as the numbers were being tallied from the advance and election day polls, candidates were watching the results firsthand on the screen in council chambers. And once the numbers were all tallied, Dennis Perot won the mayor's race over fellow candidates Kathy Frazier and Marie-Rose Lewins. Now, with the confidence of the voters behind him, Perot outlines his plans for the coming term.
So the absolute first thing that I'll be doing is meeting together with our new six and actually seeing what the needs are for those six and what they're looking for. Next, I want to get our budget set. That'll be this December. It'll be the earliest budget I believe that we'll ever have delivered in the city of Swift Current. So I'm proud of that. I want to see our budget cycle mirror a calendar year. As opposed to when budgets are released in the spring, I'd much rather see them being released. And I don't know if we'll be there this year, but I'd like it to get to that point. The third thing I want to do is I want us to be open for business. What that means is reaching out to every contractor that comes here to work on the Sask Flower Plant. That means reaching out to potential investors and reaching out to manufacturing to encourage them to choose Swift the same way that we have, same way that you guys have. I want to see that. And so those are my three things I think that I hope to do in the next 120 days.
And 6 councillors were elected as well, with Ryan Plewis and George Bowditch returning for their third terms, while Pat Friesen and Ron Tolles will be back for their second terms on council. All grateful for the community's support and pledging once again to keep the best interests of the local residents at heart.
This election, more than others, I think for me anyways, I felt the need to sort of step up and not defend our record, but talk about our record a lot more, as I think that there's been challenges to that in this campaign, and I think it's fair to say that I've stood up pretty strongly for the record of our council and for the path that we're on right now. So, relief that people have, I think, given us a pretty clear mandate to move forward on that path.
We need to revisit our transit system. We need to relook at what's happening on the south side with all the school closures and the hospitals and the population over there. The people are asking for things. We need to look at that. People are asking for a second overpass. We need to look at finding ways. There's still the pool and the field house that needs to be looked at. We got to find ways to do that we got to find partners.
And there's 2 new faces to City Council with Bruce Stagg and Chris Martins, who are ready to tackle the job at hand with a fresh perspective.
We've got, like you said, a younger demographic that going forward. But I'm more excited to just be a part of growing Swift Current and moving it forward in the right direction. I mean, I couldn't be happier to know that I'm a part of that. That thrills me to know it.
The official swearing-in ceremony of the new Swift Current City Council will take place on November 7th in Chambers. The City of Swift Current proved once again it can host a large-scale event with the CCA Finals Rodeo. Close to 100 contestants from across the Prairies were in Swift Current for the 2016 CCA Finals Rodeo. Over the 4 days, contestants competed in 7 events, from bareback, ladies barrel racing, team roping to bull riding. And by Saturday night, the top honors were handed out to the #1 ranking competitors in their respective categories, including Maple Creek's Brady Bertram, who won the bareback category for the 2nd straight year. And with strong performances throughout the 4 days, Bertram says it all comes down to focusing on the ride and giving it his best shot.
Leading up to it, I just try to block everything out and just concentrate on what I can do and don't worry about what the horse is going to do. When I'm getting on, it's not me against those other 12 guys. It's me against that horse. And whatever happens, happens. And that's just kind of how I treat it. I've been taught that way with some guys from home that kind of coach us.
While for others like Scott Sigvason of Davidson, who competed in tie-down roping, steer wrestling, and team roping, he says once he's in the arena, he's competing against his personal best time, while feeding off the crowd's enthusiasm.
I'm a really high energy person, so when the crowd's loud and that, I love it. Like, I gotta have a horse that lets me be really high energy. I can't ride one of them horses that you gotta try and be calm and cool, because that's when you kind of get behind. Like, you'll see me, I'll be jumping up and down, and I'll try and wake myself up before I go in the box and try and get my energy level back up high, and I love it when the crowd is loud. It gives you just that tingly feeling.
A well-rounded weekend of rodeo action, which was pleasing to the crowd and the Canadian Cowboys Association, as this marked the first of 5 years that the CCA Finals Rodeo will be hosted in Swift Current.
You still need a population to be able to pay for this, as this is an expensive deal to put on with the prize money. We have over $100,000 in prize money for our contestants, and even with the stock and everything, it's a pretty expensive show to bring to town. But and facility, that's what we're always looking for, and this has been a really great facility since when they did the upgrades on it. It's been fantastic.
The actual financial benefit to the Swift Current business community is yet to be tallied in the coming days. However, the host committee is pleased with its first year.
So we take the best cowboys, the best stock. They get the most important award to a cowboy and cowgirl is the saddle, the championship saddle. So the hope is that this event keeps growing and growing throughout the next 5 years, and it'll just improve as we go along.
A full list of the 2016 CCA Finals Rodeo winners can be found online.
Kids grow up in a hurry. Families grow up in a hurry. People should cherish every moment and every day with the people you love.
Another local sports team has come on board with the Safe Places initiative. We have more in this report. Momentum continues to pick up with the Safe Places Youth Certification Program in Swift Current, with another sports team coming on board. Earlier this week, executive committee members of the GPC Junior SunDogs volleyball team met with outgoing Mayor Jared Schaefer for a press conference at City Hall. Trent Regier is the chair of the executive committee and says with 35 volleyball coaches and 14 other volunteer managers and executive, becoming youth certified is a step in the right direction, as they all deal with youth ages 8 through 18.
So we've always required our coaching staff to have a clear criminal record check as well as take the respect and support. However, when you've got different coaches coming in at different times, it becomes a bit of an issue for a volunteer club to keep track of where people are at. And so when we started following the initiative that was championed by Jared and Sheldon Kennedy, we watched it from a distance a bit to sort of see how it was going to play out, and just felt as we watched other community groups come on board that it was just an important step to do to show some confidence in our community, to our families, to our parents that send their kids to be coached and mentored by our teams. And so just really looked at it and said, you know what, this is what we need to do to be part of the community.
And as tryouts begin for the upcoming season, Regier says all youth certification cards must be in place prior to the end of November. Ongoing community support, which is pleasing to Jared Schaefer, who helped launch the Safe Places initiative earlier this year with Sheldon Kennedy. And a program which he will continue to encourage other individuals and organizations to support.
And I think the refresher of having to recertify every 3 years is something that's going to be a real valuable resource that we just get in the process of getting used to. And as I said, I still think the benefits to your community and the benefits to volunteers are really going to come, pronounced as more and more people sign up.
Along with the GPC Junior SunDogs volleyball team, the Swift Current Ball Club, Swift Current Minor Football, and the Broncos have all signed up for the youth certification program, with over 600 individuals receiving their Safe Places youth certification cards. More details on the program, which includes a criminal background check, are all available from the City of Swift Current. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.